Greetings, ARX fans, and welcome to another new episode of Axer Behind the Scenes. Now, today, I am going to be taking you all through something very special that I have been secretly working on for the past couple of weeks. And what is that exactly? Axer Get Glitched. And in case you're wondering, yes, this episode does feature the epic return of SMG4 and his fellow cast. Now, for those of you that may not know what happened with SMG4 and Axem Ranges X, I can tell you right now, the last time we ever saw SMG4 in Axem Ranges X was during the final battle, Game of Chess Part 3. Now, because of this, I've been wanting to put SMG4 back in Axem Rangers for a very long time, and the fact that SMG4 released his new pack of characters, I just had to buy Gmod. And so now I have all the original characters, Psycho, Tari, The Rock, Jeeves, so all those characters, along with the SMG4 complete collection of all the assets that SMG4 uses on Gmod. I have those as well. I don't have all of them, but I mean, it's enough to get started on a machinima. But I've yet to pretty much learn the rules of Gmod because as of now, I mean, I'm still hooked with Cinema 4D being my 3D weapon of choice, and I would love to find a way to get these models into Cinema 4D so I can start animating and stuff. But enough of that. I know what you're here for. You're here for Axem Rangers X. So here's the scene. This is Axem Rangers X Get Glitched. I actually divided this show into two parts. And the reason being is part one is pretty much the introduction to Void X Tari, which is a ship that I decided to do because, I mean, Void Ranger... Okay, you know what? Look, I'm gonna be completely honest with the Doraemon fan base. I respect the ship between Nobi and Sue. So, I mean, I have seen the episode where Nobi and Sue, they eventually get married when they are older. And I respect the ship too much, to be honest with you. So, with that being said, I am thinking about playing the Rosalina turn, in which, in a few seasons from now, Sue is gonna be going with Nobi. Because they are, I mean, in the story, they're already married, so... As for Void, unfortunately, he's never gonna find love unless he starts searching for it, so... Yeah, Void Ranger, he's not gonna have a happy love life until he meets Tari, which is exactly what this episode is all about. Void meeting his future love interest, and it's gonna be one hell of a wild ride, I can guarantee you that. So, the very first scene here, as you've seen before you, this is Babylon City. And what I did was I went to my Axem Rangers spreadsheet. I pretty much took a background of a city, any random background, and I just pasted into Microsoft Paint. Microsoft Paint, for those of you that don't know, is my canvas. I explained that in my SMG4 collab entry behind the scenes video, and basically it's the same operation, only this time I'm doing it for a complete episode, not a 30-second clip. So here we go. So basically I put in Breeze Block by Camo and Crooked. This is the pretty much half of the official theme song of Axem Rangers X. But personally, my favorite one out of all of them is Shock 1 and Festa Crucify Me, which Breeze Block and Crucify Me, they actually blend together as a full mix. And it's one of those track compilations where they put one song on top of the other and it mixes very well. And I mean, it's the perfect blend for drum and bass music. So next, basically, I put Void Ranger getting attacked. I did put some sound effects there, bombs, the airbag eyes, which are very famous in Axer Marine, and of course R89 is after. So R89 uses blue fire, obviously, and blue fire. As of now, only 2 Rangers know how to use it, and that's RA9 and Void Ranger. Nobody else can use the blue flower, and there's a reason why. RA9 has the one weapon which he's been drinking ever since he's been living in Bamboo Blue Beach, that being the Jacinto tree. The Jacinto tree gives you the blue fire powers. How does Void Ranger have it? Who knows? All will be revealed later. So, there we go. We have RA9. And for those of you that don't know, I use a very special app. It's called Voice Changer Plus. It's this one right here, the one with the microphone. And basically I used extraterrestrial, and I pretty much bumped down the frame of the pitch to pretty much 15 or 14, depending on how aggressive I want RA9's voice to be. So in this case, I put it down to 14. And basically what's going on in this scene, Void Ranger is challenging RA9 to a rematch at Christmas Bash. Now, for those of you that haven't seen Independence Day, let me explain what the hell is gonna happen. So, normally, in the past, with the original Axum Rangers X series, what I always did was Independence Day comes first, Night of Champions comes second, and the Christmas Bash comes third. This time, I plan to reverse the order by putting Independence Day first, Christmas Bash second, and Night of Champions third. And the reason why I'm doing this, the plot will make more sense, because if I just do Night of Champions next and then the Christmas Bash third, I mean, yeah, we're still gonna get the pay-per-views and stuff, but the event itself, like the story, it will not make any sense whatsoever. And I intend to change it just to make sure that it makes more sense, because that's pretty much what we want. We want a story that makes sense. So, yeah. Void Ranger's challenging R89 at the Christmas Bash. Once again, just like Independence Day, it's going to be if Void loses, he becomes a Thorium Ranger. So basically, forfeit brawls. Now, forfeit brawls is by far the most common Axum Rangers X battles, in which if a character wins or loses, they have to gamble something. And forfeit brawls is pretty much exactly what this whole scenario is. But in this case, Void Ranger versus RE9 at the Christmas Bash, let's elevate it, shall we? I'm introducing Double Jeopardy. Double Jeopardy means that if RA9 loses, he has to give up something as well. So, in this match, either way, if either Void or R89 loses, something is going to happen. So, the way it's going to go down, Void Ranger, obviously R89's forfeit brawls conditions stay. Which, if Void Ranger loses, he becomes a Thorium Ranger. Just like Independence Day. But this time, Void has a plan of his own. And Void's deal is, if R89 loses, I mean, as you can see right now, R89 is wearing that dark cloak. Now imagine R89 unmasked. Exactly. If R89 loses, Void Ranger must unmask him. That's the deal. And also, FYI, this battle is for the negative Ultra Stars. So, the negative Ultra Stars will change hands, and either Void will become a Thorium Ranger, or R89 will be unmasked. Either way, something's gonna happen. So, with that, R89 pretty much taunts Void. Void taunts back. They do trash talking pretty much. And then R89 uses the Ultra Stars. Now, as you can see right now, there aren't all of the Ultra Stars. There's about 2 more or 3 more. I don't remember. But basically, there's a few that are still missing. And Void Ranger's job is to recover those Ultra Stars. And mind you, these are the negative stars, not the original Ultra Stars you know from Axer Rangers X. But, spoiler alert, I do have plans to bring back those original stars for a very top secret project. But I'm not going to tell you guys anything about it, so you're going to have to stay tuned as the series progresses. So, R89 uses the stars, and he creates a portal. Now, the portal, for those of you that want to know, how did I create it? I used Black Magic Fusion. Black Magic Fusion is my compositor of choice. I could have gone with Nuke, but Fusion pretty much handles bitmap imaging. Unfortunately, Nuke is not a big fan of that. So, and I should know because I have used Nuke non-commercial, and it's a big difference when it doesn't work with the files that you use every single day. So here's the portal, and Void Ranger falls down, and Void Ranger is injured, and we have now Princess Peach, who obviously, unfortunately, acts as the bitch in SMG4. But then again, it's no surprise. She's been acting like a bitch since the original Axer Rangers X series. She actually made the Poke-Mutants' lives a living hell during the original series, and she really hasn't changed ever since. And, I mean, from the history that I've had playing Mario games with Princess Peach, yeah, she could be a real handful when you play against her as a computer, so you've been warned. So, Princess Peach is angry that she has an intruder in her Mushroom Kingdom, and Princess Peach basically wants Void Ranger to leave, and she even goes as far as kicking him. And then she calls him Toadsworth. Toadsworth arrives with a big tank. Where did he get the tank? I have no clue. He takes out a bomb, and he's ready to kill Void. So Mario, classic Mario, he shows up naked. So, typical SMG4 gag, the running gag of Mario naked. Now, the thing is, one thing that I have total respect for from YouTube is censorship. So, obviously, I'm going to put Mario in his underwear. I'm not going to put him completely naked like SMG4. I mean, that would be just totally wrong in 10,000 different levels. So, for the sake of community guidelines, I just had to censor Mario pretty much. I mean, then again, I've censored a lot of characters in the past. I mean, look at Princess Rosalina. The very first time she became nude, I had to pretty much censor her with a dark black cloak, and she pretty much hid behind a curtain, so I had to follow community guidelines in order to keep censorship applicable. So Mario shows up with his underwear. The bomb explodes that Toadsworth was carrying, and obviously destroys the tank. Peach and Toadsworth, they're not dead, they're just KO'd. So, yeah. And then SMG4 calls Mario out, put your fucking clothes on, and ladies and gentlemen,
hey, I'm hungry.
Now have
you got any food?
Mario,
you want to explain to me what you're doing here?
The Mario stupidity that is well known.
It's a Mario time.
And of course,
Son of a bitch.
What's funny about all of this is they're actually standing on
Ah,
top
the
of Void Ranger.
princess.
She's a bitch.
And of course, I put some classic SMG4 sounds. They finally notice Void Ranger, and everybody is shocked.
What the hell is that?
And of course,
Why the hell is
keep in
that?
mind, SMG4 hasn't
Oh, ma
seen
natuturo
Void
to
Ranger
Rebaro.
in a very long time. The last time they ever saw Void Ranger was just a child. Void Ranger was this cute little angel that was standing on everybody's shoulders. And now here we are years later, Void Ranger, teenager.
Fuck is this shit?
So yeah, and yeah, if you're wondering,
Mario's gonna do something very big.
I'm guessing it was Jeffy or something. And of course, Mario used the chainsaw because he wanted to perform the surgery himself. Mario's gonna do something illegal. SMG4 stops.
Wake the fuck up!
And now here we are. Mario wakes up Void Ranger from his injury.
Mario!
And obviously,
What?
Void Ranger is
What happened to
not
me?
happy. Because after
Oh, ma
all,
natuturo to
his
Rebaro.
dad is
Mario?
over there on top
Luigi?
of the balcony.
SMG4?
Mario's in bed,
That
and
means,
mind you,
oh
this is a
no, I'm in the
hospital
Mushroom
scene for people
Kingdom.
sick, So obviously,
What
Void
did I
Ranger's
do?
gonna be-
How did I get here?
obviously Void Ranger's gonna be injured.
I don't know.
And then, of course, after this, where we see Void Ranger reuniting with Mario, Luigi, and SMG4, Void Ranger introduces a flashback to Independence Day. Now, the thing is, I'm just gonna skip it. I am not gonna spoil Independence Day, because you're gonna have to see to believe. So, basically, Void Ranger mentions that he challenged RA9 in Babylon City to a rematch at Christmas Bash, as you saw in the first scene of the episode. And now they head to Peach's Castle, which is actually the next scene. So in the next scene, they head to Peach's Castle, and here we have the next big event in which Void meets Hari for the very first time. So, here's the scene, Peach's Castle.
So Team 1, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon.
Now, what you're hearing right now, I couldn't actually get any voices of SMG4 introducing the characters in his normal voice. So what I did was, I took the next best thing, which is Ocean's 38, the robot chicken parody of Ocean 11. And I pretty much put it on top of SMG4 as if he was introducing the characters. But the funny thing is, this voice clip is actually introducing celebrities rather than the SMG4 cast, which is, come on, you gotta admit, that is pretty hilarious.
Don Cheadle, Carl Reiner, Elliot Gould, Scott Conn, Chabot Hume, Eddie Jameson, Andy Garcia, Leonardo DiCaprio, Bruce Willis, Vin Diesel, William Shatner, Rupert Grace, Christopher.
And I actually did put original sound effects for these characters. So here we go. These are the main characters that we're going to see in the episode. We got Bowser pulling weight. We got Toad looking out the window. Meggy's got her sniper onto Bob. Bob is obviously shitting himself. Fishy Bookim's playing with a spike ball. Psycho is just crossing her hands and all that stuff.
Justin Timberlake, Antonio Banderas, and Kurtwood Smith, Bruce Campbell, Jackie Chan, and Weird Al Yankovic. You start a fight at the bar. Then Team 2, Sylvester Stallone, Erica.
Oh, mind you, Psycho Sprites, Super Mario SpongeBob. I am so glad that I found you on DeviantArt.com because, to be honest, I love your Psycho Sprites. I want to use them. I just couldn't find your username on DeviantArt. But now, thank you for sending me a note. I really do appreciate it. And I'll be sure to include your name into the credits, which I already have. Because, I mean, I already worked on the episode. As you can see, this is just me explaining what I pretty much did for the whole thing. So, with that legal mumbo-jumbo out of the way, let's continue.
Strata, David Letterman, Vince Vaughn, Leonard Nimoy, Vladimir Putin, Frankenstein, Mommy Susie, Coco the Gorilla, Panda with a Monocle, Peter Pan, John.
Psycho speech. And you know what? Thank Vindoc. I finally have the Japanese sound, no, sorry, not the Japanese sound thingy, the Japanese text input, because before, when I tried to put in Japanese text in, I think it was Windows XP, it never registered. The only thing that was registered was squares and rectangles, and to be honest with you, I did not appreciate that in Windows XP. That's my only gripe that I have with Windows XP. But now with Windows 8, I can actually put Japanese characters. And of course, she's saying konnichiwa. So yeah, she's pretty much saying hello. So yeah, big improvement compared to Windows XP and Windows 8. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm just happy that I got Japanese text. So now everybody can understand what the hell these characters are saying, especially the Japanese characters, especially Axem Brown, because I had a lot of difficulty with this character. He's supposed to be Japanese, and yet Windows XP never registered his Japanese characters onto text. So, thank Vindoc, this finally happened. So, and then Void Ranger. Okay. This is pretty much where I actually did start to laugh at my own creation. So, SMG4 says, okay, that's it. Now come on, let's get out of here. Let's go back to Babylon City and return you home. This is hilarious. Listen to this. Umberto Tozzi, ti amo. Classic Asterix and Obelix Mission Cleopatra running gag. As soon as Asterix meets one of those Egyptians in Cleopatra's throne room, that song plays, which is utterly hilarious, seriously. And obviously this is pretty much the start of Void's relationship with Tari. It starts with Void Ranger seeing Tari. He gets hard eyes, which obviously are bubbles, because, I mean, Void Ranger did exactly the same thing with Suminamoto, but this time with Tari, it's different. This time, Void Ranger actually likes her. And there's the end of the gag. Obviously, it ends with Umberto Tozzi saying "Ti amo." Classic love gag. Right there. Absolute classic. With the record scratch. And then I put the love
Name's Tari.
of Void Ranger.
This girl, she's so young, pure, cute, and sweet. Not to mention she plays video games.
One thing I want to mention about Void Ranger, and this is something I never told anybody. Void Ranger is the male version of Tari. I can confirm you that. Void Ranger loves video games. The only thing is, he never had a chance to play any video game because of the life he lived. You know, the war, the corruption, all that crap. Void Ranger never got a chance to play a video game, and yet he loves video games. So that right there proves that he's a male version of Tari. Not to mention, there's another secret that Void Ranger's hiding, and he never revealed it to anybody. The only person he'll ever reveal it to is Tari. But we'll have to find out exactly what that secret is later. I already know what the secret is, and I'm not even gonna bother telling you because you're gonna have to find out as the series progresses.
Could this girl be the woman that fills my empty heart?
And yeah, the woman that fills his empty heart. Void Ranger. Obviously his name speaks volumes. Void is an empty room. Void is not happy. He wants someone to be in the room with him so that he can finally live in love and happiness, which is pretty much exactly what Void dreams of. But, you know, because of this war the war always pulls Void Ranger back in. There we go.
Ah! Who are you? Are you a monster?
And if you're wondering, that is the voice of Claire Jacobs. And yes, it's official. I actually did find a voice actress to play Tari. Especially when I did try, I actually did send an email to Celeste N. Smith, the original voice of Tari, and let's just say she hasn't responded to the email I sent her. With the audition script, of course. So I found Claire Jacobs. She's voicing Tari in Axer Rangers X. And this is their first
Goody,
encounter.
do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm. Please, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Void Ranger.
Void Ranger is such an innocent little cutie. I mean, like I said, Void is the innocent little ranger that everybody wants on their shoulder. Enough said. So, Void and Tari, they introduce themselves. Void is about to play his very first game. Super Smash Brothers smash each other in the ass, bros. Or, as we know in the Axem Rangers universe, Mugen. So Void Ranger goes hard eyes for Tari. Tari's asking, is it normal? And then I do a running gag of SMG4 just in the background. So take a look. This is hilarious.
You can do it!
Classic SMG4. You can do it! And then, of course, Tari, after SMG4 leaves.
Void Ranger, I would love to play Smash Bros. Against you for fun.
And then, of course, the game begins. So, Void Ranger picks Samus because Samus is from outer space. And Void Ranger is in love with space because, I mean, obviously he lives in Apophis, Nibiris, Vindok. I mean, those planets are in a different solar system, so obviously Void's gonna pick a stargazer. And Samus is, of course, a stargazer, so it fits Void Ranger's character perfectly. And, of course, from SMG4, the original SMG4 Mario and the Ultimate Gamer, Tari, of course, picks Yoshi. Yoshi is obviously her main, so enough said, you know. So, basically, Samus wins, and Tari loses, but here's the thing, they were only ever playing for fun. And so, this time, Void asks her, do you want to play for keeps? So, things are really going to get interesting this time, because let's just say whoever loses is going to have to keep the other person. So, if Tari wins, she gets to keep Void. If Void wins, he gets to keep Tari. So, either way, something is going to go down, and let's just say it's going to be one hell of an adventure for both of them. And if you guys are thinking what I think you're thinking of, I can tell you right now, no it isn't. So, I wrote an entire episode full of Tari X Void scenarios in which Void takes Tari on an adventure, Tari takes Void on an adventure, SMG4 can take them both on an adventure, and vice versa. So, and of course, even though this is Void meets Tari, there is always the villains that interfere. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you the main villain in Tari's life, Lux. Lux from Meta Runner. That's right, I actually made a sprite sheet of Lux. And this was in collaboration with a friend of mine from DeviantArt.com, Justin Game Design, and he made one hell of a sprite of Lux. And in this scene, we actually see Lux. He's actually watching Void and Tari playing Smash each other in the ass bros, and R89 is with him. So, I have this guy, his name is Beardman, and he's gonna be voicing Lux. And to be honest with you, he's the closest voice I ever had. Now, I did host many auditions, and it was Beardman who came the closest to the real voice of Lux. And you know what? I cannot wait to see him in action. I really cannot wait. And of course, R89, I gave him the heartbeat sound effect, which is creepy, but it suits him perfectly, so... Basically, R89 is explaining that Tari is not a threat to him. It is Void Ranger who's the real threat. Because let's not forget, R89, Void Ranger, they both have thorium power, which is the Blue Cloud, also known as fire, and it comes from the Sinto tree sap. So, yeah. There's a lot of tension between those two, I can guarantee. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much the end of part 1 of Axer That's Behind the Scenes. We're now going to move on to part 2, where the story actually continues. So, here we go. Welcome to part 2, ladies and gentlemen. So, as we can see from the scene, we pick up where we left off. So, RA9 once again explains to Lux that he pretty much knows the weakness of Void Ranger. Just like the original scene where we saw Lux and R89 watching Tari and Void via telescreen. And for those of you that don't know what a telescreen is, it's a television that watches you. So, there we go. Yeah, hang on, I'm waiting for my hard drive to load. And then here we go. And then we go into the game arena. Now, for those of you that may or may not know, the game arena was famous in SMG4 The Ultimate Gamer, when Mario and Tari pretty much went to train so that Mario can kick SMG4's ass. So here we see an audience of Koopa Troopas. They're pretty much
Are you okay? What's wrong?
Actually, let me just do one little thing here. I just need to do... Here we go. Cut. And now let me just do one more thing. I'm just gonna alter everything except this. And I'm just gonna put it all to here. There we go. So now, yeah, that was just one little minor bug that I found in Premiere.
Are you okay? What's wrong?
So, obviously, Lux has returned to the actual arena. Come on, darn thing. There we are. There's Lux. He's waiting for Tari to play against him. And of course they have this little animosity with each other. And of course the fight begins, the tournament. So of course Tari picks Yoshi, Lux picks Bowser. Because obviously Lux is a leader. He wants to pick the King of Koopas. He picks Bowser as his ally. The battle begins. Yoshi destroys Bowser. RA9 is not happy. So what does he do? He does the very thing that Tari is capable of. Game warping. RA9 uses his own axe to game warp Void Ranger inside Mugen. And how he does it is completely uncalled for. Take a look. Sound effects, and there you go.
Oh god! What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay.
And of course, multiplier for sound effects. And now here we go. Obviously, Toad being the jerk that he is, he knows the whole thing.
Where am I?
And there we
Oh
go.
no! Why am I fighting?
Places
I shouldn't be fighting
Ranger
Yoshi.
with Bowser.
Unless... Oh
Bowser's house.
no! Did I just warp into a video
Void has to
game?
fight Atari Yoshi.
Yoshi can only win.
Atari is playing against
Oh no!
Void against
Atari!
his own will.
I need you so hard! I swear I
That is
need you
very
so hard!
disrespectful from Ari Times behalf.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
And of course, Void Ranger apologizes to Atari and gets pretty much gets yeah, he pretty much gets destroyed, unfortunately. Then of course Tari grabs Void. She's very nervous for him because he just got beaten. And he did take a beating, and of course Tari lost the tournament. So basically Lux won via cheating. And obviously now going for step 2. Things are about to get hectic between Void and Tari, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Remember what I told you about the big adventures that Void and Tari were gonna have? Yeah, it starts here. So Tari and Void are now at the hospital. Tari is by Void Ranger's bedside, and she is wanting Void Ranger to wake up. And Void Ranger does awaken. He tells Tari about his backstory with RA9, but he doesn't tell the backstory about himself. So that right there is a yellow flag. Because in order to raise the red flag, Void has to say everything. And of course, plot demands keep the suspense to a minimum until the time is necessary. So, Void Ranger and Tari, they have their little moment together. And then, after the hospital visit, Void is discharged from the hospital, and they are met with a very unfortunate surprise. Police arrive. Guns drawn. And there's Lux with the walkie-talkie. So basically, Lux frames Tari. And the police arrive right in front of the hospital to arrest her. And of course, this is pretty much revenge after what Tari did to Lux in Meta Runner. So, that is if Tari did something to Lux in Meta Runner, which caused him to be like that, so. And of course, police. Something I need to tell you guys about this kind of police in Axer Rangers X. These police are corrupted. They only care about greed, power, and the Ultra Stars. Now, who was the ranger that wanted all of this? Can you think of one ranger who wanted all of this power above the law and corruption? Master Falcon. Now, obviously, Master Falcon isn't here, so it's pretty much RA9 that's behind all of this. And of course, as you can see right now, Mario, being the complete jerk that he is, offers Tari to the police. And everybody else is pissed.
Mario, Mario, what the hell are you doing? Are you that stupid?
And of course he throws
very much.
he throws Tari to the police. Tari gets handcuffed and Tari is arrested. And of course then, and then of course Tari. Wait, hang on.
Get your hands off me! Let me go! Find help! I know you can save me!
Let me just do one little thing here. I'm just gonna do this. That ought to do it. And then, yeah. That's pretty much all I'm gonna do.
Hands off me! Let me go!
Maybe I think I'll put in Mass Effect, the Crucible sound effect, and then refade it back into.
Yahoo! Bye-bye! Woohoo! Hello! You son of a bitch!
And of course, everybody is pissed. So,
Mamma mia! Mario, are you really fucked or something?
and yes, Void Ranger is completely pissed at Mario for what he did. So now everybody. So yeah, Lux captures Tari, he handcuffs her to the helicopter, and he's ready to pretty much take off back to Task Corp, where he's pretty much gonna, how do you say it, decapitate Tari's cybernetic arm. So now Tari's in trouble. Everybody has to save him, and so I did a fight scene. And once again, I made Mario naked. Now, as I said, with community guidelines, I had to censor Mario just to make sure that everything is completely normal. Luigi is exercising his first tornado attack, and he does it to both fighters. And of course, here's where things get really clever. I put SMG4 with Mario's Final Smash from Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Ultimate diss track. Ultimate diss.
This was actually really clever. I actually combined Little Big Bob's Ultimate Diss Track with Psycho's Darkest Hour. I actually combined the two together. It makes something hilarious. It makes the perfect diss for those two police officers right there.
Track. Your dignity in life, you're never getting back. Ultimate diss track. Ultimate diss track. You're never gonna recover from this ultimate attack.
And they're humiliated on camera, might I add. Bowser breathes fire. Finally, Void goes after the
CEO
helicopter.
of Task Corp International, you're under arrest.
Here comes the helicopter with AK-56. Tari is scared. And Void boards the copter. So obviously Tari calls for help. Void Ranger breaks in and KO's Lux. Tari's after Void. Void rescues her. A little kiss, and Void leaves the helicopter. And they have their little romantic moment together as they're falling. Lux gets arrested. Everybody's angry at him. And then, of course, Lux vows that he's gonna get Tari's cybernetic arm. And of course, Tari resists. So, Lux gets sent to prison by police. He's gonna be there for a long time. And finally, the whole story ends with the deal that they promised. Playing for keeps. And of course, with a little lovey-dovey, the story ends. with a kiss. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the Axer Rangers Get Glitched story. Now, as you saw, there may be a few edits that I want to add here and there, and I intend to fix those bugs seriously. And so, with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. So, peace freaking out all.